It was a great weekend to pick out your pumpkins at one of the pumpkin patches around Colorado. And now it's time to make your own jack-o'-lantern creation, right? Master pumpkin carver Barry Brown joins us to share some of his tips and tricks. And holy pumpkin, Batman. These are amazing.
Thanks.
I want to carve like that. Are these freehand? Are you just that amazing?
No. I learned long ago that a pattern is the way to go.
Oh, thank God.
Yep, so that means everybody can do it.
All right, but what makes you and what makes a master pumpkin carver?
Well, they say that if you do a 10,000 hour experience, that makes you a master. Like if you work 10,000 hours at a thing. So I estimate that I worked about 10,000 hours carving pumpkins.
All right, well, let's get started. What do we need to make a pumpkin or to carve a pumpkin?
Well, it's great to have a pumpkin. And you can have either a fresh pumpkin or a foam pumpkin.
I love these new
foam
foam
pumpkins are molded from real pumpkins, so they look really great.
Love them.
But you want to get a pumpkin that maybe is a lighter color because it's easier to carve. A smaller pumpkin is better to carve because you can manage it a little bit better. But what's really important is to get really good tools.
Oh my gosh.
And so the first pumpkin carving kit was made right here in Colorado.
Okay.
So the very first starter,
Okay.
And the man who made it said, you know what, I want to make the kit that I wanted to use. And so he made these tools, which are the ones that I use and I use for my carving parties that I do around town these days.
Okay.
So these are really great tools. These saws, the scoop is amazing. I'll show you how to do that. And the transfer tool, it makes it really great.
All right, let's get into it. Let's start carving this baby. So this is the Bronco logo?
I already have the pattern on there, but I haven't opened the pumpkin yet.
Right.
I say open the pumpkin from the bottom.
Okay.
Because it preserves the top. There's no lid, there's no falling, and there's no dehydration. So I want to carve from the bottom. And normally we would carve in our laps. So I'm just going to try to practice it like this.
Okay.
But what I want you to do is to use the big saw and poke it straight in. Now, if I was holding it up like this, that would be straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And so I want to saw straight up and down, just like a jigsaw or a sewing machine. And here's the job. Don't try.
You're right. It's as easy
Wouldn't
as
that be
pie.
great if it was your job? Don't try. Don't try to move forward, but the really important thing is to go up and down. So I'm going to kind of motor through this because I can kind of carve a little bit fast. I want you to go about 3/4 of the way around, and then I want you to carve a straight line across your circle, because this will help this big piece come out. If it's in one piece, it'll be harder to get out of the bottom. But if it's in 2 pieces, it'll come out a lot easier.
Barry, you're so full of tips. There's just so many things after 49 years of carving pumpkins I didn't know.
49 years, well, I haven't quite achieved that. But
well, I can't say that I was carving them when I was 1, but I'm just throwing it out there that there was a lot to learn that I didn't even know about. There you go. Look how easy that was.
Yeah, and in 2 pieces, it comes out easy. So then it's the scooper.
Okay.
This scooper is amazing because it fits right inside the pumpkin, and you can really do a good job. Some people don't like to put their hands in a pumpkin.
I know they don't.
So you can wear one of those rubber gloves. But this scoop will take everything out. Now, do you like the seeds?
Yeah, I do like the seeds.
I want you to take the seeds out first. You bring your hand in there and you scoop around like this because the strings are attached to the pumpkin.
Yeah.
The seeds pop off and you just come out with handfuls of seeds. So you really use the scoop to make that happen after you put the seeds out.
Okay.
So we're going to skip that part and go to transferring.
Well, actually, we're going to skip to the part where we actually see the pumpkin.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to skip to that part.
Look at that picture. That's this pattern, correct?
It's
on that
similar,
pumpkin?
yes.
Similar? So that is what this would look like when you use these tools to carve on this pumpkin with a pattern that you probably printed out just from the internet, right?
I did. There are so many patterns that you can get from the internet. And what's important is when you're carving with yourself, or especially with kids, you want to use patterns that are more simple.
Yes.
Because then you can be more successful, and that's the point. We were talking earlier about your kids carving.
Yeah.
It's like, here, Mom, finish this up. I like to teach parents how to teach kids how to carve.
You know, that's a great idea because you end up doing all the work and you want the kids to have fun and be engaged.
Yeah, and then they get the pride of finishing.
Yeah. No, there is a pride factor to this. So, all right, so what are you going to do
so
now?
What's
we just have
important
about a minute before but you are going to come back.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, you want to have the part that you're carving straight up and down. I call it the North Pole of the pumpkin.
So don't try and do it this way. Don't set it in front of you and
you
poke
can
at
hold
it.
this on your lap.
Okay.
And then when the saws are used straight up and down, they're strong, but when they're sideways, they're bendy.
Oh,
so it's important to go straight up and down.
Okay.
So if you're going in the North Pole, you know, like the very top of the pumpkin, you're going straight up and down like that. If my pattern part is over here, I'm going to turn that and go straight up and down.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happens
We're gonna let you
across the pumpkin.
You're gonna let you keep doing that. You're gonna be back in a minute. Keep carving away, my friend, because you're just amazing, and I love to watch you. So hold on one second. We'll be back with Barry after the break, and we'll return, and we're gonna turn the lights down for a final piece. This is so cool. Plus, find out where you can carve with Barry later this month. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Now, the best way to enjoy your pumpkin project is in the dark. So we've turned the lights down low, and Master Carver Barry Brown is back with us. And now the lights are low, but you have one more tip for us before we see this beautiful artwork.
You want to, after you transfer your pattern with the little transfer holes, you want to rub flour into your transfer holes, and that brightens them up. It turns them white, so they're easier to see.
And then, so it's hard to see the little pinholes until you do that, and then you just take your little knife and up and down,
That's
like
right.
you said.
Just straight up and down with your knife.
Love it, Barry. You have so many awesome tips. Okay, so you've got events coming up, and people can actually see you carving, but what events do you have coming up?
Well, the big thing is the pumpkin tree at the Denver Place on 18th and Curtis. It's this enormous tree that was from the Denver Center, and I hung 30 carved pumpkins from it, so it's there to enjoy all month. If you want to come and carve with me, I'll be at the Botanic Gardens this week, and I'll also be doing a display of carved pumpkins and demoing pumpkins at the Broncos Trick or Treat event for their kids club.
Do you sell your pumpkins? Can I just buy all these and take them home? And
you can. Just give me your credit card and we'll be good.
No kidding. They're just so cool. You had great tips at the beginning. Size, color. Go over those again. What makes the difference?
A smaller pumpkin is thinner in the flesh. You can manage it in your lap better. With the scraper scoop, you can thin it down. So that's another great thing about this tool. If you have a larger pumpkin, you can thin the area. If you're carving with young kids, you want to have a thin area for them to carve because they'll be more successful that way. A thicker pumpkin lasts longer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask me, how do you make a pumpkin last long?
I was just going to ask that.
Well, how long do you want it to last?
Until the end of the Halloween week for me.
So a week long. How do you make a sandwich last a week long?
I put it in plastic wrap.
Bing! Bing! You wrap it in plastic and you put it in the refrigerator. When you want to display it, you take it out. When you're done displaying it, you put it back in.
Really? Oh, okay. Just wrap some saran around there. Are we lighting with candles or battery operated? What's
I prefer
best?
LED electric light because it's less heat, it's bright light, and there's very little hazard. Like a candle, you don't want to leave a burning candle unattended.
Yeah.
So you want to be safe with that.
Where do you get your inspiration? How do you, your next pumpkin, what's it going to be? How do you know?
I like to carve really intricate pumpkins. And so like these Bronco pumpkins, I wanted to make them even more splashy than the cool logos they already are. So I just carve a lot of stuff. I want to take out more pumpkin than there remains. I love Erte, I love Tiffany, I love Fabergé, all these kind of elaborate decorative carvings. That's what I like, is about the light shining through. That's what's important to me, is how the light shines.
That's why we lower the light. So you wish pumpkins were all year round, don't you?
It would be kind of fun, yeah.
All right, besides poking or using our tools kind of the wrong way, what are some other mistakes people make when carving their own pumpkins?
You try too hard. The thing about these saws is there's a lot of teeth.
Yeah.
That's the idea, to bite through the pumpkin. And if you're going up and down, the teeth are carving through the pumpkin as opposed to trying to push the pumpkin. Here, I'll show you.
You're not sawing, you're just up and down motions.
Well, it is sawing as opposed to cutting. So cutting is with a knife, sawing is with a saw.
Oh, it's so easy.
Yeah, it's very little effort. When I saw the guy who created these tools carve, I'm like, oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So it's really this up and down. And I'm really not thinking about going forward. I'm just thinking about straight up and down, letting the saw do the work. If your fingers are tired, if your arm is tired, well, A, rest. And then B, don't try so hard.
Well, pass it on to the next person, right?
That's good tip too.
Pass it on to your son. Pass it on to your daughter. Okay, I need to take a drink. Or
there you go. Stand up and walk.
The gentleman who created these is from Colorado.
That's
Remember
right.
we used to use the steak knives? You know,
oh
like
boy,
just
my heart goes fast. Like, nope, these saws are the way to go because they're a lot safer than a knife.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Beautiful, beautiful work. So the pumpkin tree display is at Denver Place on 18th and Curtis now through November 5th. This Thursday, join a carving party at the Denver Botanic Gardens from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Barry's pumpkins will also be on display, unless I buy them all, at the Broncos Brunch Trick or Treat event this Saturday, October 28th. Learn more online at barrybrowncreative.com. Stay with us.